I hear a lot of misconceptions about the winters in the UK from people, and in general they tend to think that it is some sort of a scene from Home Alone. As we are now halfway through the winter, I just want to talk about this a little bit. Hi everyone, it's Poppy here and I am a Thai living in England. So in this channel I just talk about my experiences as a foreigner living in the UK. Well, today you're in for a treat because we are talking weather, which is probably one of the most favorite subjects that the Brits like to talk about. I will cover quite a fair few things today in this video actually, so I think it's going to be quite a long one. I'll leave all the timestamps down below so that you can skip through the chapters if you want to. So I think today we are just going to talk about, how it's like over here in winters, and if there is any advice for those of you who are from warmer climate, and also I'll touch base on some of the things that surprised me in my first winter here in the UK. Now let's get into it. The first thing I want to mention is the winters here, normally as you would expect, the days are pretty short. The winter month in the UK starts right around December and lasting until March. And as someone who is originally from a warmer climate like me, I do struggle with a lot of aspects about the winter in the UK, but one of the things that I struggle most is the short days. There were days that it was still dark when I commuted to the office, and it was still dark when I finished work. Yeah, remember those days when we could actually go into the office to work. Anyway, another topic for another day. And there are just some days that are shorter than others. It is December the 21st today, and it is said to be the shortest day of the year or the longest night of the year. Same thing really. And as you can see now, it's 7:49, so 10 minutes to 8, and it is still quite dark out there. So we do still have a while until the sun comes up in the morning. And some people even consider that winter doesn't really start until December 21st. With the days being so short, people cope with it differently. Some people do struggle in the evenings when it comes 4 o'clock and it's already dark. For me, the evenings is not really a problem. For me, it's more of the mornings, because I am such a morning person, and normally I like to get up early, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and get things done. But in the winter it is particularly very difficult to try to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning when it's pitch black outside and it is so cold. It is just much easier choice really, just to snuggle up under the duvet and keep pushing the snooze button on your phone. And hey, I don't think this problem is particularly uniquely to me. I think a lot of Brits are struggling with it too, but I think if you're someone who are originally from warmer climate and just move here, then you are going to have to prepare that you'll find it quite difficult when the days are so short. Next, let's get the biggest misconception out of the way: the snow. I hear this all the time, people saying to me, oh, I can't wait to go to the UK so that I can see the snow, or asking me how much of the snow do you get over there, and the answer is barely nothing. I do live in London, just so you know, so that is south of England, and that's probably a warmer climate than the northern part of England or the northern part of the UK, so understandably I don't see snow very often. If you are living in the north part of England, like Manchester, Liverpool, you are probably going to see more snow over there. Or if you live way up north of the UK, such as like Scotland, then yeah, you probably experience more snow over there. But for me, unfortunately, living in London, there is not much snow going on over here. The last time I saw snow in London was in March 2018, and it was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful, but it wasn't that much of snow to the extent that you can build a snowman or anything, but it was still nice. And from time to time you see like bits of snow here and there, and I think the last time that happened was April 2019. It was just random bits of snow, which it was just so light that it didn't stay on the ground. By the way, the picture and the video are from my Instagram, so feel free to follow me there if you want. Only if you want to. Well, so if there's no snow, then what is it really like? You'll probably be expecting around 0 to 10 degrees Celsius for the winter over here, and bear in mind, like I said, I live in London, which is south of England, so if you go a bit up north then you'll probably get a bit colder weather. And in winter here in London is in general just windy, grey. It can be rainy, so it can still be a bit wet. It feels really funny saying that word here online, but yeah, it can still get a bit wet here in London during winter, which is quite surprising because you would expect a bit of a drier weather and a bit of snow, but that is not always the case in south of England. If you go a bit further south, like to coastal cities such as like Cornwall, for example, you can also like expect really heavy wind combined with cold, which for me, personal opinion, I think is the worst possible kind of weather that you could ask for, really. And there is also something that I didn't really see before in Thailand, and I never knew of it before, which is frost, and that you can expect that here. So if you don't know, then frost is basically a thin layer of ice on top of the surfaces, and you can see that like outside, for example, like there'll be frost on the leaves on the tree, or frost on, especially like on the windshield of the car. You know, you need to wait until the frost is defrost first on the windshield before you start driving. I know it sounds like common sense for any of the Brits watching this video, but for me, I never saw frost before, really, so I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, so that's what it's like here, really, in London. And you know, I need to tell you that there are so many days in this winter and winters before that it's freezing cold outside and it's raining, and I don't know, it's just, it can get a bit depressing. However, apart from all the things that I've mentioned, the winters in the UK are not that all doom and gloom, because as you know, Christmas is in December, and December is generally a pretty good month for winter. In a normal year, not 2020, there will be Christmas markets, Christmas light decorations, and in general you feel like the Christmas excitement. Okay, so here's some random observations about the winters in the UK. I think it's quite funny that in December, a majority of the population just spend their times eating whatever they want, drinking whatever they want, and just basically like let go. And they'll try to undo the damages that they've done to their weight gain or their body in January. So in January, the gyms are totally packed. I think in January, that's the busiest time of the year for the gyms. There's also this dry January thing, which people undergo the entire month of January without consuming any alcoholic beverages, which, if you're wondering, for me, I will not partake. Another thing I've observed people doing during the winter here in the UK, which is something that we don't really have in Thailand, is that people do eat seasonally. Is that a word? Like people eat based on seasonal eating, seasonal diets. Yeah, people eat seasonally. I'm sure that's the correct word. I've noticed it with my colleagues that during the summer they will be having like salads for their lunches, but in the winter they will have soups, stews, and you know, basically warmer food, because it's more comforting and it makes people feel better during the winter. In Thailand, obviously, because the weather is the same all year round, we do have the same food every day for the entire year. Doesn't matter. I also find that in general, the Americans do cope better with the snow than the Brits. Let me explain. I spent a year in West Virginia and they do get really bad snow there. However, there was only one day that the school was forced to shut due to road closed because of the snow. And I think that in that particular day, the snow was quite high, probably up to my waist, which is probably around the height of the average person's knee. Seriously. But here in the UK, it seems as if like whenever there is snow, people goes into a total meltdown. It could probably be just because in the US, you know, there are many states that gets heavier snow in the UK, so they cope with that better because that's a common problem for them, but not so much for Britain. So here's some advice if you are like me, from a warmer climate moving to the UK and you are facing your very first British winter. The first thing, which is important and something that I absolutely did not do, which is appropriate clothing. It sounds very simple and silly to be saying this, but you know, I thought when I first moved over, I didn't really understand how cold it was going to feel for me. I am just more sensitive to cold weather, and those clothes that I brought with me just wasn't going to keep me warm enough. So my advice would be, if you're from a warmer climate, do bring some of the clothes with you, but if you can, do the majority or the bulk of your winter clothes shopping over here, because I think over here they have better suited clothes for the weather or winter over here in the UK. However, if you're coming this year in 2021, depending on which month you're coming, the regulation changes every week or every day. Some of the clothing shop may close, but you can still order online, so do allow yourself some time for postal delivery. Secondly, make sure you get enough nutrients from your food. You know, eat a lot of eggs, like oily fish, and because of there's a lack of sun, people are not really getting enough vitamin D, so some people do take vitamin D supplements. And the third one, this one is probably quite difficult, but do try your best to stay active. You know, do some home exercises, go for a walk, join the gym when they're open. This is something that I didn't really do in my first year, because like I said, I didn't bring appropriate clothing, and I just always felt like every time I went out, I was too cold. Like outside, it was just too cold for me to do anything, too cold for a walk, you know, so I did not really go out much at all, unless I had to commute to work in my first year. But you know, over time, I now have appropriate clothing and I go for a walk every day, and I find that it really helps me mentally, especially this year, this winter, when we're in and out of the lockdown all the time. I also love lighting candles around the house. I don't know what it is, but I think, you know, when it's dark all day inside and outside, a bit of light from the candle just makes me feel good and cozy and just, you know, better in general. That's all my experiences with the winters in the UK that I wanted to share with you guys. I do hope you like this video, and if you do, please do give it a thumbs up. I'll see you next week, and in the meantime, I hope you take care. Bye.